Welcome to the Encore session, everyone. Today, we're taking you inside Boxel Studios, a VFX studio like no other. We are live in Mexico City today, joined by Boxel CTO Armando and head of IT Sergio Montoya. So, picture this: a studio with no walls, no commuting, just a global team of artists fully connected in the cloud. In this Encore session, we're going to peek behind the curtain and hear about Boxel Studio's cloud journey, enabling Boxel artists across the globe to collaborate seamlessly, creating Hollywood productions from anywhere. We'll talk about what that actually means for the people, the culture, the IT backbone, and how a fully distributed team collaborates to make incredible VFX work. Lastly, we created this Encore session for you. We're interested in what you think. So make sure to join us at the end, and we'll open up the mic for a few audience questions. So we're going to go start out. Armando, thank you for joining. Can you tell us a little bit about your journey and how you ended up at Boxel and what it means to be a CTO of a fully cloud-based VFX studio?
Hi, Eric. Thank you. Um, well, uh, I studied physics, so I end up working on animation and visual effects because I really like to create and I really like to work with computers also. And I really like science and technology. So I started first working as an artist many years ago, more than 25 years ago. And then I own my own studio. And there I work also as the director of technology of my studio. And I got interested into pipelines and how to make the work of everybody easier, to handle all the complexities of the work that we do to allow the artists to actually empower them to create. And then after that, I also work on a big studio here in Mexico City. And then I also, at that time, I knew Andres Reyes, who is one of the co-founders of Boxel Studio, and we helped them actually do the color correction of one the first feature film that they work, no feature film, animated film, basically actually, and we helped them do the color correction on my studio, and since then we started very good relationship, a friendship, and then he asked me if I wanted to join Boxel Studio, and of course I wanted because he has just a great spirit about creating and making he has this dream about how everybody could have a good living by working on what they are passionate about. So that's how I end up working at Boxer Studio. And he also asked me. He was actually working as the CTO besides being the co-founder, but he wears so many hats. So he was just very busy, and he asked me to help him with the technology side of the studio. And of course, I joined Boxel after the pandemic, so I had some experience moving a team to the cloud. Boxel was already working remotely with their own hardware on premises, and um, and what does it mean to be city of a fully cloud base? Well, it's very challenging, but also it is very satisfying. You have opportunities to work with so many talent. You are not restricted to work with what you have available on your city, just the way that it used to happen before. And we have multicultural team, which is also it's great to know so many cultures and work with them and to empower them to do amazing work from wherever they are located. Basically, thank you.
Sergio, as head of IT, you're responsible for the infrastructure that literally keeps the entire cloud studio running. How did your role change when Boxel decided to go fully remote or fully cloud?
Eric, thank you. Um, so it was mind blowing experience in terms that it was the first time we even experimented this. We've been working with artists fully on site or some in all the servers within the site with uh, being on the same building. But when we started going fully cloud, That was a really big step and very experimental at the same time. We had to do a lot of changes, but at the same time, it was a really positive change because it allowed us, it opened a lot of possibilities, opened a lot of doors. We started being able to work with more artists through all the globe, while keeping at the same time all the information uh, secure. So it has been interesting. It has been an interesting ride, but it a lot of the tools are getting more automated at the same time. Uh, so yeah, it's been work in progress, but definitely a very positive experience.
Well,
Thank you.
thanks. A good answer. Okay, so Boxel is really much moving into a complete cloud native format. And Armando, how does that affect the day to day work of your artists and producers?
Well, how would I interpret that question? Well, it does benefit in some ways, but it also possesses some challenges for the team. Um, I think one of the greatest things is the this really contributes in a positive way to the mood of everyone at the studio because you don't have to lose time commuting to the studio, never ever again, and that's a great thing, it's something that most people don't realize how the mood of people affect the way we work and the results we have. And by just being in your own space and not having to commute, it's just a great start. But it's also challenging because now sometimes you feel lonely, you are by yourself, and you need to be very how do you say this, you need to plan how and when to meet with your team. So it is not just like before that you are surrounded by your team, or you can just go to next office to ask a question. Now we communicate using Slack, but also a lot of um, video call software.
Yeah.
So you have to be intentional on how you work, but also you can have your space so you can concentrate and block time to focus by yourself, which can be also challenging for some people. You can get distracted very easily, but also if you prepare your space, you can actually take that to your advantage. And I believe for younger artists, for people who is just entering this industry, could be more challenging because now you are not surrounded by more people in the same place. But at the same time, you can also have access to so many artists in a more easy way, in an easier way, because you can share a screen and you can just be with anybody, like without having to move in a facility. You can go with someone else from any department to have a conversation, and they can share your screen, they can show you something also. So it has pros and cons, and we are still continuously learning how to take advantage of all this new way of working. Thank you.
You okay, Sergio? From an IT perspective, what unique challenges do you face when the entire studio is cloud?
Thank you. Well, mainly latency. I think that's been a very difficult thing to tackle. Even though everybody, we have SendGrid, we have Boxel, we have a lot of things on the cloud, like and distributed. But at the same time, it's not. It definitely and logically is not as having everybody on the same side and have 0 milliseconds of lag, right? So that's like like the thing that gets added to the whole mix, to the recipe, but it and at the same time how to be friendly with that lag, because it's gonna be there. There's no way around it. But at the same time, we need to learn how to play with it, how to work with it, and keep the latency as minimum as possible, while at the same time distributing and talking through the internet through the globe. So I think that's one of the main challenges, uh, or probably the main challenge that I found. Another thing is that whenever a global service goes down, like AWS or something, that we need to resort to have other backups of connectivity, using other tools. I'll go around that because as we're not on the side, we need to uh, find another way to communicate with everybody. But it's part of how modern technology works. It just learn how to work with it.
Right. Great answer. So one of the questions that I think about often is how do you manage scalability for projects that have big peaks and big troughs?
Thanks. So yeah, basically the one of the positive things about going cloud is we're storing everything on big data centers, right? So it's easy as just spin up machines, turn on computers, workstation as we need them. Also expand storage as we need it in terms that probably a project will scale way higher than we anticipated, or there's more seasons coming up or more episodes, whatever. It gets really easy to just expand without needing to go physical in terms that we don't need to change drives. We just one click expand it, or more computers that we need or turn down. The project got done already. It's already delivered, so we can just shut down the machines and easy peasy. We don't need to deal with hardware components, maintenance, et cetera.
Thank you. Okay, Armando, how do you see cloud infrastructure shaping the future of VFX production?
Hmm. Very interesting question, Eric. Um, well, it has to do with by working in the cloud, you are getting rid of some of the boundaries that you have when you're working on a single facility. Now you have access to so many things now, just like Sergio was mentioning, of this flexibility to span, contract, but also to have access to a broader uh, pool of artists and resources. Because you could end up also having access to many different cloud vendors depending on what you're working with. Even in virtual production, how you connect the sound stages where the actual production is being happening with the rest of the artists working somewhere else, and you don't have to move everything to that part of the world. So this is of course this is going to shape how the VFX industry is evolving, how we are working. It is not like before, where everything was constrained and everything was moving slowly, and now the industry, the projects are actually demanding that way of working, that fast. You have to be responsive, you need to adapt, you need to be flexible, and I think the cloud is the answer to have that flexibility. Thank you.
Right. Thank you. Okay, so you've worked with us at Center Grid and Virtual Studio, and you've probably worked with other people to help empower your creative team in the cloud. Can you talk about what you value in a cloud partner? And Fulton, you can.
Sure. Thank you. Yes, what I value the most is having a partner that actually um, you can share uh, your challenges, and actually someone that works with you as a partner to solve um, what you need. You know, of course, now we have several hyperscalers, but the thing is that what I don't like is you don't have access to human beings. To work with people that actually you can have conversations with. So I value that a lot in a partner. We have all that marvelous technology in the cloud that you with that you can grow and shrink. But the most important thing is the people managing all those that infrastructure and how you plan with them, how you share your challenges with them. So as a team, we can find better solutions to the challenges that the projects and the industry is demanding for.
Understood.
You want to add something, Sergio?
Definitely. Yeah, and to add to what you said, Armando, one thing that, well, there are multiple things, right? But uh, probably the main thing about having a partner is that working between Centergate and Boxel, that way of working and the workstation that Centergate has helped us greatly because it's more aim, not aim, right? But it has more the idea, the background, or more towards studio and creativity instead of just general computing, which a lot of other cloud-based systems like AWS, Azure, whatever, are more towards inclined, more towards general computing. But on Centergate, it's just we're kind of talking the same language about streaming, about how everything needs to be, how everything needs to look. Uh, Storage capacity, and as you mentioned as well, having somebody to talk to directly and being familiar with all the terms, we don't having to explain why we need this way or another. It's just easy as we need this GPU or upgraded because of the VRAM, something that with other providers will be tougher to work with.
Great. Okay, this is for either of you guys. So what's been the biggest win that your team has had since you started your journey into the cloud?
Hmm.
That's a kind of hard question, but
But, you know, kind of hard, but not that hard because I think that the biggest win that our team has had since we started this journey in the cloud is that now we don't have to reject the project because we don't have the infrastructure or the hardware capacity because now we have access to just great artists, but now we are not limited because of the hardware and the resources and whatever is needed. So now we have that power to because in this industry it changes a lot. So we don't have to reject any project because of that.
yeah,
Yeah.
nice. Awesome. Sergio, do you have any?
No, that was pretty much what I'm actually.
Okay,
I
great.
think that's the biggest.
Okay. So thank you guys so much. Now we have a few questions from the audience. Now, everyone remember, this is your chance to ask about cloud workflow, IT culture, or even career insights. So, okay, well, Kevin, thank you for your question. So, Kevin's question is, what's the single most surprising thing you learned about running a fully cloud-based studio?
Yeah, so I think the most surprising thing is that again, I'm pretty much really aggressive towards lag, and being a streamer for some time and gaming a lot on the internet online. One of the things that surprised me a lot is the need of zero latency. Basically, everybody's streaming to their own workstations remotely through different parts. It was at least on the beginning. For me, it was more. It's either it's gonna be really difficult, really hard. It's the need to be fully color specific and exact at the same time, and see everything as being as you will be on that computer physically. If you will have that computer in front of you, I think that was the biggest surprise that it works perfectly okay, works perfectly fine, and not only that, but the ease again to just expand as the ease and how easy it is to expand.
Great. Is anything else to follow up?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Something came to me. Um, and I think the most surprising thing I've learned, it has to do again with people and how to connect with them. And I've learned the hard way not to abuse of chat communication, written, and that every time that's needed, or most of the time, try to find time to have at least a voice call, if not a video call, not just chatting. Listening on the chat or the way that people read messages depends on their mood, and everybody's interpreting differently each message, and this can get very messy, and you can end up just doing choosing the wrong path or doing something wrong because you misinterpreted a message.
Yes.
And that's challenging, and again it has to do more with how we as humans connect and communicate with others, than because we have all this flexibility of working in the cloud and expand and all of that. But at the very end, just like working with partner, it has to do with how people connect with each other, how we communicate, and how we create a shared understanding of the work.
Understood.
And I've learned that the hard way.
I think we all have.
Yeah. I have a question. Do you guys feel like your production or your production time is like increased or gone faster, like what you put out versus before you had the cloud? If you know the difference between the two.
Definitely. Before it took longer, and even longer before, and everything has been changing because also of the pipelines, the technology, and now it's super fast to get access to new technology right now. You know, everything is going very fast, and even more now with AI advances.
Yeah.
And you know, we can produce faster than ever before because getting hiring artists for the project is faster. I remember long before, about 10 years ago, I remember like moving artists from one country to Mexico, and that took a lot of time, you know, getting the visas and all of that. And now is, do you have, can you start tomorrow? Yes, I can. All right, you start tomorrow. So definitely it's faster.
But yeah,
Nice. Yeah. Great question. All right. This next question is from Carlos. So Carlos is saying, I guess this is for Sergio. How do you maintain security and data integrity while allowing artists to log in from anywhere?
yeah. So that's a great question indeed. So basically, we have everything restricted that nothing gets out of the workstation that they're logging into. The only way that their computers, the artist computers remotely interact with the workstations that we're providing them to work on is just streaming. It's just nothing can get copied, can get transferred. It's a locked down workstation. But at the same time, logically, there's ways that we have a lot of trainings and what to do educationally, how to handle communication, even chat as well. As you mentioned, when using Slack, everything is locked down that nothing can get transferred between the workstation and the outside. So everything we have really tight pipeline data IO, data transferring, even downloading files or assets is really strict. So we need to work alongside with our security officer on what the certifications require, and not only to comply with them, but also to do and put more and more and be more strict about it, just to prevent any issues. So just policies and making sure the artists and understand the consequences on what could potentially happen if something gets leaked or whatever.
Yeah. Very good. Very good. Okay, we have time for one more question. And okay, I see a question from Chris. And Chris, thank you for your question. So the last question we have today is, I guess this will ask to either of you guys. What advice would you give to other VFX studios considering moving more of their pipeline to the cloud?
First, get a vendor you can talk to and that listens to your concerns so you can plan with them to actually do that movement. And the other thing is also to get people that has experience in communication and plan accordingly how are you going to communicate with everybody in the studio and to put some guidelines and to support your team about how to communicate with others. You know, I think that's a really important thing also.
All right. Well, that's all we have for this encore session. And thank you so much, Armando and Sergio, for joining us. And it's really incredible to see how Boxel is built, not just a studio, but a cloud culture where technology and creativity meet seamlessly. And for everyone out there that's listening and watching, please go to the Boxel website and look at their latest projects and really see how cloud is shaping the future of VFX. Thank you.